EKJ 24,000 here again. We're gonna go over maintenance. Maintenance is, I did a couple of videos on maintenance, but maintenance is just very important. That's why we have to go over this stuff again. And like I say, through time to time, from year to year, different technologies change on our cars. Different things mean something different. Just like CVDs on your car is different from CVAs on your car. Then you got universal, like on your drive shafts. You got your CVD drive shafts. You got your CVA drive shafts. Then you got your universal drive shafts. So I'm breaking down my truck right here. Breaking down my truck, just going through it, doing some maintenance on it. Going over my arms. It's probably that time for me to put some fresh A-arms on it. And I was just going through it and see what stuff I need to replace. Like I said, CVAs, these are CVDs. Anytime you have your drive shaft and the joint of the drive shaft is outside the bearing, it's a bearing inside this C-hub right here. It's a bearing inside of there. You can see it just a little bit right there. It's a bearing in there right there. You can see it right there. When the joint of the CVD is outside the bearing, it's a CVD. But when the joints like this is inside the bearing, that's what they mean by CVA. When your joint or your drive shaft is inside the bearing, it's a CVA. When it's outside the bearing, it's a CVD. So, but yeah, on mine, I got CVDs on my truggy. And universals that's a universal. Just for the people that don't know, you know what I'm saying? It's good to go back over stuff like this. When you got a drive shaft with the intertwined, locked together like that, that's a universal drive shaft. So back to my truck. Like I said, it's time for me to do some maintenance on the truck. So I just wanted to show this. And there's a few things on here that's worn out. Just like this CVD right here is worn out. That pin, see how much play it is before the wheel actually turns. So I've got to replace the pin inside this CVD right here. That's one thing I got to replace. Maybe, like I said, I'm gonna redo the arms. So it's just time for this truck to get pretty much a total makeover. And then if you got slack in your A-arms like this, you can see it. That means this A-arm is stretched inside the hinge pin hole right here behind my A block. It's stretched in there, so it's time to replace this arm. We got that much play. A little play is not bad. Like over here, a little play like this, that's not that bad. I wouldn't really stress over it. I probably can go like probably 2 more races with this. It's not too bad, but it's almost that time to replace. But it's not too bad. It's not as bad as this one. But if you're doing one side, you might as well do the other side, because you're gonna have everything broken down, ready to replace. Check your center drive shafts are important. See on this, this one is worn really bad. See, this is kind of worn really bad. See how much it's see how much is, see that? It's supposed to be round. See how much it done shaved down? It just wear over time. See how much that done shaved down? It's supposed to be round, kind of like this one, but it's got a flat spot. If you have a little wear, don't stress it. But if it's heading to like this, see, that can break. It's so thin that it can break. See how thin that is? See, that could break, and that could end the race day right there. So it's good to look over your stuff and catch all this. It's supposed to be a round pin, and some manufacturers make tools that you can push these pins out and replace them when they have a little wear on it. See, this one don't worn so much, it's too thin to even press out. So I'm gonna have to replace this whole drive shaft right here. But yeah, look at stuff like that. Check this rear drive shaft. The rear one is not too bad. It's got a little flat spot right there, but it's not as bad as that front one. So yeah, see how flat that is. Yeah, it's time to replace that. See, this one, it's flat on this side. It's time to replace this one too. If it has a little wear, but it's still kind of roundness to it, then it's good. Don't stress it. But if it's flat like this, and definitely if it's flat like this one right here, how thin that one is, it's definitely time to replace it. So yeah, going back to the rear arms. See, the rear arms those are pretty good. And see, this rear CVD, it's still good. See, it's turning all at once, not all that play like this one had. See how this turns before it even turns the. Look at that. Before it's not even turning the shaft, and look how much play that is. So that one back here is pretty good. This one right here, check this one. See, that one's pretty good. So yeah, this arm has got a little play, but it can go probably another 2 races before I have to change it. But definitely this front arm right here got to be replaced. Too much play right there in the joint. Too much play. If I do this one, I might as well do this one. So just remember that, little stuff like that, and just go through. See this CVD. This one is pretty good. It's just this one right here got the most play. So I just got to change that pin out inside the joint right there. Inside that joint, right up in there. In there. I can see it better. Right up in there. Change the pin out. You eliminate that slack. But yeah, it's EKJ 24000. Again, if the joint of your drive shaft is outside, this is CVD. If the joint is inside the bearing of the hub, inside the bearing, it's CVA axle, CVD axle. Outside the bearing, CVDs. These CVDs. And this style right here is your universal style. So just keep these kind of looped up. They'll be good. Keep it from wearing so much. But yeah, like I said, it's maintenance time for the truggy. It's time for just to do a pretty much overhaul of the truck. And just going there, just giving y'all little hints and tips and tricks to see when it's time to replace stuff, and when you can let stuff go for a little bit while longer if you don't have it right then. It'll be safe. But this right here is not safe. It's too thin. It may break, and that can ruin someone's, ruin a race day. Especially if somebody don't have that part. So Might as well go and replace it as we see it. So, EKJ 24,000. If you ain't ripping, you're tripping. Let the haters be your motivators. Actions speak louder than words. Later.